a different wall. Usually you see walls from the ground up. That's down there, obviously for a purpose. Roebuck, do you know about the sunken walls?
The reason for the sunken walls was because they didn't want the fences ruining the view.
Lovely.
So they had, if you could have stock or whatever in there and they couldn't get out, you could have stock here and they couldn't get in because of the height of the wall. So no need for a fence. I want to be a brave bullock now to jump down off that.
Sure. And this is where all the barley and oats was kept. So it took a week of threshing to thresh all the stuff that used to be there in the line of barley and oats and wheat.
Originally, they often planted lime trees along an avenue.
Okay.
And I'd say the original trees were far enough back that they wouldn't actually damage the wall, but these are all wild.
These have gone through the wall.
They've destroyed the roots, have destroyed
But that, if you look closely in the trees, you can see the pump house.
Where? Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
You see the trees here on the left?
Yeah.
That was your pump house.
Every drop of water for the house and the gardens and everything to be pumped up.
On a quiet evening, we could hear this pump used to go thump, 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 and at our house you could hear it.
What energy was used to keep the pump flowing?
I presume it was some sort of oil.
Was it?
Maybe paraffin or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't actually know.
I actually remember it's probably still in there, the pump.
Yeah.
I think that the pump probably is still in there, and there's bits of it. We wouldn't look. It's just a lumpy.
And what?
The gamekeeper's cottage. Now we
Mason
talked
lived
about
there.
the gamekeeper. Who remembers what the gamekeeper did?
They kept.
What were the games? He looked after the birds so that they would be there for the hunt. Is that
Yes,
right?
nobody could come
So he
into the
wouldn't have been.
stage.
He wouldn't have been shooting them. He would have been
And they also
making sure
had
that they.
the shooting rights of palace next door, and they still do. I think George got
Foxes eating the baby pheasants.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, it was to keep the pheasants there or whatever, and it was a constant job.
The river in Clonbrock is called the Bunnown. It is a tributary of the Suck. Lots of fish live in the river, such as trout. There is a small waterfall in the river. People used to go swimming in it, but now it's too shallow and rocky. Animals use the river to drink from, including the cattle and sheep in the field beside it. There is a big bridge over the river made of iron and stone arches which the water flows through.
Sheep were mainly reared for their wool, as mutton was not yet a popular course in the menu, although the Clonbrock sheep ledger shows a recurring entry killed for a house. Selected breeds produce fleeces close to half the animal's weight, and a washed wool commanded an extra premium. No wonder then that sheep washing was an important annual event. The Bunnown River, as it entered the domain from Palace, was the preferred location. This is a purpose-built utility that involved the construction of a wooden bridge and a sluice spanning the river, all anchored with a layer of specially designed cut stone pinned in place with iron ties. A filter net further upstream kept debris and unwanted material away from the area, and a sloped jetty enabled the wash sheep to exit the river. There the sheep were submerged and rescued alternatively with the aid to the trusty gowlog. The man on the bridge was alert to the dangers as the swirling current at the sluice could suck the water-laden sheep under. Long after the demise of Clonbrock and its sheep run, local people used the faculty free of charge. James Johnson brought 300 sheep here each June, as did the owners of smaller flocks. Access to the river was through the farm gate entrance in Lenalaw. There was a roadway through the wood and the farm to the west of the pump house and the quaint three-eyed stone bridge to the sheep corral known as the sheep weir. For the owners of smaller flocks it was a pleasant day's work. At least the youngsters and the dogs enjoyed it, even if the sheep did not. There is little evidence today of the washing pond. The remains of the pump house that pumped fresh water to the big house and the exotic fish pond in the garden is still there. The sluice gate that diverted a body of water to the mill stream had the effect of flooding the Callow further upstream, so the County Council raised the sluice at the earliest opportunity. The guardless three-eyed stone bridge with its once manicured walkway is overgrown.
The waterfall in the aqueduct, that perfect backdrop for the camera-loving society, has surrendered to the hedgerows. Still, this most picturesque location has, for the most part, been unvisited and unseen.
This is the house where Thomas Concannon lived. He was a ploughman in Clonbrock for 36 years, 10 of them for Lord Clonbrock. He retired at the age of 68. He had a son called Joe Concannon, who worked as a gardener in Clonbrock. He regarded Lord Clonbrock as the grandest man he's ever met. He smiled at the memory of Lord Clonbrock going out at night to catch butterflies for his butterfly collection.
Just started the work on renovating it. Scaffolding went up about a year ago, and I don't know how much longer it's going to be there. But as you may have been told, it was by the O'Kelly clan, and then they eventually passed it on or sold it to the Dillon family.
The castle remained intact until 1807. The castle was burned accidentally in a fire that happened because of a fireworks display to celebrate the birth of the second Lord Clonbrock, son and heir.
Hello, my name is Lady Augusta Crofton Dillon, and my husband Robert Dillon and I are very interested in the art of photography. My father bought me my first camera and also built me a little wooden photographic house on the grounds of Moat Park when I lived in Dublin. It was built in the early 1860s and is a backdrop for some of my more early portraits. When I moved to Clonbrock, I discovered my sister-in-law was in charge of the house, so I devoted my time to photography. I built a small photographic house beside the main house. Developing photographs was quite a dangerous process. It involved pouring a syrupy mixture called collodine onto a glass plate and then coating it evenly across the plate. As soon as the collodine was set, the plate was sensitized and placed in the camera, exposure still wet. After exposure, it was developed immediately. It was a technical and difficult process with a fine balance required for the correct effect. The contact print from the plate was put onto albumin paper. As I grew older, I developed less photographs. However, my children continued the practice. I took many pictures of my children, Georgina, Robert, Edith and Ethel. The pictures were usually set on the grounds of the estate. I died in 1928 and my pictures are stored in the National Library.